Hello everyone, this is Ashish. Today I'm going to start mm, a, tutorial on PowerShell basics. It will be a series of videos. Today I'm going. This is my courseware that I will be covering over a period of time, and these are 6 or 7 modules actually I will be covering. The first module talks about introduction to PowerShell. Second is PowerShell basics. What are the things we should know before starting scripting in PowerShell, or using it in our production environment. Then we'll be covering the PowerShell base remoting, like uh, how to interact with the remote machines, how to run script over remote machines, how to call the modules from remote machine and things like that. And then later on it will be an advanced part, like how we can start debugging our script, how we can handle errors in our script, and what are the options PowerShell gives us. And then we will be covering PowerShell development, uh, like majorly WMI classes and sim classes that PowerShell expose to get us things done in Windows environment. And then the most advanced part would be the module development, uh, like how you can develop your own module, what are the types of module you have, and I mean, what are the manifest file which is related to module and things like that. And then we will have a simple GUI application, GUI application in PowerShell as well. We can create PowerShell GUI or GUI application in PowerShell as well. Because it is developed on top of .NET framework. So whatever we have classes in .NET for graphical user interface, we can call in PowerShell. So let's start it. Let's start the beginning. Let's start the introduction to PowerShell. It will be majorly theoretical. Theoretical discussion. What are the things we should know? How PowerShell, evolve. Why Microsoft, started thinking on this line. So let's discuss this. So okay. So this is my okay. So let's start it. Microsoft Windows PowerShell, introduction to PowerShell, and these are the topics from introduction. We will try to cover first 4 topic today, and then in my next video I will be covering the later topics. And probably this is how we will be moving over the series of videos for PowerShell. So let's start the overview. So PowerShell, as defined by Microsoft, is an automation engine that provides a task-based command line interface, a dynamic scripting environment, an interactive shell engine, and much more object-oriented scripting language. So let's break each one statement and let's try to understand what exactly it means. So it's an automation engine. So it is developed for doing automation in Windows environment primarily, which gives us the you know uh, a task based command line interface where you can run commands, ad hoc commands, to do certain tasks, like creating a directory, or creating a user in Active Directory, or creating a mailbox on Exchange, or things like that. You can issue a command and the task will be done. So you have a command line interface for that, CLI, that we say. Then you have a dynamic scripting environment. So you also have a dynamic scripting environment where you can type in, then you get the intelligence over there, you get the help, you get syntax highlighting. That's the IDE, integrated development environment, something like that. We call it ISE. That's integrated integrated scripting environment. And interactive shell, so everything happens on a shell. So shell engine is there, which which process your commands, which gives you the result, which gives you information against the commands you have ran. So things like that. And then more, on all of this, including all of this, you have this object oriented scripting language. So this is one of the major advantage over other scripting language like shell, or majorly what we use in Linux environment. So shell is not an object oriented scripting language, but PowerShell is a object oriented language. How it helps you, how it has, I mean, how Microsoft has developed it. We will go through it, but for the time being you should know that PowerShell is an object oriented scripting language. So whatever the flexibility, whatever the features you get with object oriented programming languages, you get with PowerShell as well. And to know more, PowerShell is developed on top of .NET framework. So, like, I mean, whatever you can imagine, you can do you with .NET. You can think of doing the same thing via PowerShell as well, because in the background somewhere .NET is sitting. So whatever you do on PowerShell, it actually gets done using .NET itself. So that's what the second point says. It's built on .NET framework, easy to learn, and a tool for automation and managing systems. So easy to learn means that it's kind of easy for system admin guy who has been doing a little bit of scripting or little bit of batch processing using command prompt, or maybe VB script, or maybe who those come from Linux environment have shell scripting. So those people can relate easily with PowerShell. It's not like full-fledged programming language journey where you will have to have a developer point of view first. I mean, a system admin guy who has been doing command prompt things can relate with PowerShell very easily. You get the commands which works with command prompt as well as with PowerShell. So it is easy to learn. The learning curve is really very easy. A part of Windows management framework. So Microsoft has a Windows management framework, which is which is a set of tool sets which Microsoft deploy to its operating system ecosystem, to manage those those softwares, or you can say operating system, or set of tools. So it is part of Windows management framework. PowerShell, I mean, if you want to install PowerShell, you will probably install Windows, I mean, you will probably search for Windows management framework, which includes PowerShell as well. There are certain other things which are included with Windows management framework as well, which is not part of scope of this training. But yeah, I mean, good to know that it is part of Windows management framework, and which is for managing the Windows ecosystem. Part of Microsoft CEC, so Common Engineering Criteria, since 2009. So Microsoft has a common engineering criteria, where it defines a set of practices, set of things to be done with its Microsoft set of product or ecosystem, so that they have a consistent support, consistent environment across the tools. So Microsoft has included PowerShell as a part of its common engineering criteria since 2009. So whatever the tool set they develop, they have actually, the development team has been asked to include the practices to support PowerShell of the to for the automation or for the task completion or administration kind of things using PowerShell. So that's what it means. So how you install it, it's quite basic. You have a Windows PowerShell on 2008 R2 or above. You already have it installed. you need a .NET Framework 2.0 if you don't have PowerShell, if you have a older version of Microsoft Windows. And Windows PowerShell ISE requires .NET Framework 3.5. So ISE stands for Integrated uh, Scripting Environment. So it's a kind of development environment, integrated development environment, what developers are used to. We will go through the how it looks like. I mean, what are the basic things you get with the ISE. So we will see that. So this is what it looks like. Microsoft PowerShell integrated scripting environment. uh, you can launch it from Windows, you know PowerShell ISE. And then okay, so let's I would like to show you how to launch it actually. Okay, eh, let's do one thing. Okay, so to I have launched the PowerShell. So to launch PowerShell, you can do PowerShell. Here you have PowerShell ISE, run as admin. So I have already launched it. So this is what ISE looks like. So if you go through that, you have a text area. You can type in over here. You can console. You can type in here in console as well. But console do not support multi-line. So everything you have to type in one line and then click on enter to run it. But in text area over here, you can write multi-line code, like something like script, or something like code, like having more number of lines. And then you can you have the option to run it, like you have written it and then you can run it. Like if I will say get service, then I will have to run it to execute this one, right? But if I will enter over here get service, and I can just enter here. So this is how it works. I mean, basics. You have a commands tool, view. In view option you have a command add-on. So if you uncheck it, it won't be there. uh, so if you don't see there, just check it, you will have there. It is very useful for for starting up. And I mean, if you don't know a command like get service, you can select this one. You can get help out of it. you know uh, there will be a lot of examples, basic examples how you can use this one. So things like that. I mean, we will go through how to use help, PowerShell help as well. But for the time being, you can go through it. And the commands uh, to option here, it gives you a lot of help, to start with any type of command. So this is what ISE looks like. Okay, so let's okay, slide. And then we have console. So something like that, you will search for it and then you can run as an admin, then you will get console. So you have a different console over here, like over there you have console there, right? So things will work over here as well, but it won't give you IntelliSense. So what do I mean by IntelliSense? If you go here and if I type in here, then it will start giving me options, right? So here I have IntelliSense, but in console, if you type here, I don't have any option. But yes, I have an option of tab completion. If I click on tab, it will start searching for things and giving me option. So instead of that, what I will do, I will type sir. I know that service, their service, there is no other command with sir. So that's how you can you can use help, IntelliSense from the ISE, integrated scripting environment. Here tab completion is there to help you for related commands, whatever you are typing in the console. So yeah, okay, so let's, yeah. So Okay, so okay, then we call them commandlets because so yeah, so the this what we call, what we actually use for any like get service or get help, we call them as a command. But in PowerShell we pronounce them as commandlet. Okay, cmdlet or commandlet. So we we write it as cmdlet, but we pronounce it as commandlet. And any commandlet should have a verb followed by noun, and then in between there would be a dash. So this is the basic syntax of commandlet. You will have a verb first, then there will be a dash, and then there will be a noun. So what verb gives that what this particular commandlet does it change anything on the computer, or does it get extract the things from the computer. So get is one of the verb, set is one of the verb, and new is one of the verb, add is one of the verb. So if you are using get, that means you are not doing any change on the system. It just getting something from the system. So get is very safe. You can run any command starting with get on any system without worrying about anything. It won't do any change over the system. It will just fetch the information if it will be a valid command, and it will display, or it will do the the task as you have called in. But it won't change anything on the system, so you don't have to worry about doing something horrible mistake on a production system, on a production server, uh, you know or changing some configuration. But be aware about the commands which starts with add or new, or things like that, where verb suggests that it is going to create something, it is going to set something, new, add, or set is the very common verb which we use with many of the commandlets. So set something will set something, it will change the configuration, existing configuration, with the configuration you have provided, with the information you have provided with the set command. And noun gives you the information what you are going to do. I mean what I mean what like if you're saying get, then what getting what. So get service means that you are trying to execute things on service. Get process means you are trying to execute something on process. So this is how you can relate with it. You just need to understand what is the basic concept behind commandlet, like what is the syntax, and you need to understand the syntax, like what is the first part, that is a verb, what is the second part, what that is a noun, and where what are the things you should be cautious about. Like doing anything with get should not make any change, you should not worry much about it. But if you are doing something like start, something like new, something like add, something like you know so set, things like that will change something on the system. So be sure before running those commands which starts with having a verb which suggests that changing something on the system, like set, new, or add, or things like that. Okay, so this is a basic PowerShell script. So you can see that I have declared a variable first name and the last name. Do not worry about args 0 and args 1. We will talk about it in the next video. What the basic understanding about this script, but what exactly it is doing. But this is how a script looks like from a PowerShell. The first line is a comment. So anything starting with pound sign is a comment, so it won't execute as a part of script. Then you declare variable with a starting dollar sign. So first name is a variable name, last name is a variable name, then equal to, I am assigning it a value. So value is args is an argument actually. We will discuss it on the, so I mean in the next video. So for today, I think this much we have covered, like what is the basic overview of PowerShell, how Microsoft started it, what are, it is part of common engineering criteria, and what is the basic understanding about commandlets. There is a verb, there is a noun, and what are the things you should be cautious before running any commandlet. And we have also covered, like there is an integrated scripting environment, there is a command line interface or shell, so you can run there. What is the difference? The basic difference is that integrated scripting environment gives you a lot more flexibility and graphical user interface, user friendly interface, than the CLI. But CLI has its own merits. We will be covering those merits in later videos as well. Where I will be discussing few concepts, then I will be explaining you how ISE is behaving differently than the shell, and how what are the circumstances where you will be using CLI instead of ISE, or you will be using ISE instead of CLI. So these are interchangeably used, depending upon your uses, depending upon what you are doing, so things like that. So this is my first video, and I will be waiting for your comments. uh, do give my the feedback, and what are the things you would like to include, what are the things I should improve on, the concept or things like that. And I will be, or if you have any concern or if you have any question related to the topics we have discussed so far, so yeah, just comment there, and uh, probably I will be answering that, and I will be covering that in my next video as well. Thank you.